Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hotmaida, and here I'd like to present my research is about an analysis of language used in interethnic marriage of Batak Minang, a study of ethnographic at Mulyorejo, Pasaman Barat. So in here, the purpose of my research is to examine the language used in interethnic marriage of couple with different ethnic and cultural background. So here, first I'd like to tell you about the multilingualism. Multilingualism can be described as the ability or skill of a person or a community to communicate effectively in three or more languages. So in here, actually, there are three researchers that already researched about this one. The first one is Wardau in 2006, Sinas in 2013, Aurenin in 2018. Okay, now we are going to the language and identity. As we know that language and identity are two different things, right? Um, but there is a really good relationship between both of them. So in here there are three researchers that already researched about this one. The first one is Labov in 1996 and Leibowitz in 2004, Rovira in 2008. Okay, now we come to the language use. We know that language is very important for us as a human to communicate with other people, and also in the interethnic marriage couple, right? Because they are human also. Okay, and according to Himes in 1974, there are 8 factors that affecting in the using of language. The first one is setting. Second, scene, participant, ends, exequence, key instrumentalities or norms of interactions of interpretation and genre. So these factors is an acronym of speaking. I believe that all of us already know what is speaking. Okay, the second is Finnegan in 2008. Language is a system of arbitrary sign. And Cortes in 2015 said that language always play an important part in many aspects such as education and religion. Um, and now we come to the methods. So in this research, I use qualitative descriptive. According to Kotari in 2004, the goal of qualitative descriptive studies is a comprehensive summarizations in everyday terms of specific events experienced by individuals or groups. And on the other hand, Gay and Eresen in 2012 also state that qualitative research is the collections, analysis, and interpretations of comprehensive narrative data in order to gain insight into particular phenomenon of interest. Okay, in collecting the data, I use interviews in getting the data. And in analyzing the data, the researcher used qualitative data procedure. Okay, now we come to the finding and discussions. The first one that we should discuss is about the the use of language. So because this is an interethnic marriage, so of course there are 3 or more languages that they have used. The first one is Batak, and the second is Minang. The third is Bahasa Indonesia. And the second things is the reason for using language. So the first one is the the family use Batak because the one of the spouse, the husband is Batak, and the second is Minang because the wife is Minang, and the third one is Bahasa Indonesia is because in at Mulyorejo it's not only Batak and Minang people but also um, there are another ethnic such as Java and Melayu. So of course they have to use Bahasa Indonesia because as we know that Bahasa Indonesia is our national language. So both of them didn't don't understand about uh, the language. For example, the Batak people is not understand about the Java language, and the Java is uh, don't understand about not understand about Batak. So that's why they use Bahasa Indonesia in order to avoiding the miscommunications. Okay, now we come to the factors that influence the family use the language. So as what I have stated before, Himes in 1974 already mentions 8 factors that affect the language use. So let us take one factors. The factor is setting. As we know that setting is the place, area, or um, area, or locations, um, So these locations is have a very big influence for the family in using language. As we know that most of people at Mulyorejo is Batak people, so of course they have to speak Batak in order to communicate with the society, whether in school and neighbor. Okay, now we come to the conclusions. I, as a researcher, conclude that most the children from interethnic marriage are widely use Batak language for communications on a daily activity um, because most of the people at the society at Mulyorejo in Pasaman Barat is Batak people. So of course they always use Batak to communicate with others. And then on the other hand, they also use Minang sometimes for communications at their home because one of their parents is Minangnes. So that is my conclusions from my research. I think it is the end of my presentations. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.